Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal back with a new, latest, and greatest Mr. Informal podcast. I go by the name of Mr. Informal. I hope you are doing well today. I hope you are healthy, definitely healthy, and certainly I hope you had a great week. And please don't forget to add me on Instagram, MisterInformal. Check out my website with some good products, good blogs out there, some great stuff that I like at mrinformal.com, mrinformal.com. And certainly we are on podcast 148. Wow, we're closing into 150. I cannot believe I've been doing it that long. But certainly these are the four topics for the Mr. Informal podcast 148. Number 1, Unilever, maker of soaps, shampoo, and other hygienic products. Number 2, is Google Incognito really private base? We'll see. Number 3, Uber and Lyft shared information about passengers and drivers. Last but not least, Rolex sales. Very strong. Not only that, you might be surprised how strong they are. And so those are the four topics for this Mr. Informal podcast. And certainly a lot of vaccines are rolling out, a lot of states are opening, and we are slowly, surely getting back to the way it used to be. So let's go ahead and start the podcast. So from retaildive.com, Unilever bans use of normal in beauty packaging, ads, and bid to break stereotypes. I don't really know what that means, but whatever. Unilever will cease use of the word normal in advertising and packaging of its beauty and personal care brands. According to an announcement, the company also said it will end digital alterations to the body shape, size, proportion, and skin of its models while increasing the number of ads featuring underrepresented groups. The changes come part of a new positive beauty platform to package goods and is implementing to diversify beauty ideals, a mission the organization views as more important of its products now reach 1 billion consumers globally. Unilever is tying the initiative to a pledge to regenerate 1.5 million hectares of land, forests, and oceans by 2030 and to support a ban of animal testing in the development cosmetic by 2023. It's the latest sign that Unilever is broadcasting sustainable focus as cause-oriented brands become larger drivers of growth for the business. Okay. So, Unilever makes a lot of hygienic products, whether it be soap, shampoo, looks like manicure, cuticles, whatever you want to call it. And certainly I would not be surprised if it's makeup. Could be toothpaste. There's a lot. Certainly, but I don't really get it. They use normal, like normal wash, normal toothpaste. Like, what's wrong with the word normal? Apparently, they don't want to use it because of different body sizes. Well, okay. I mean, I never thought that I would buy a shampoo or a soap and thinking, hey, you know what? I'm going to think of normal. I never thought of that. I mean, when I buy shampoo, I always say, okay, get the classic one or get the original one. But I never thought of normal unless they're talking about normal dry skin. But I mean, when you say normal dry skin, it's just a general term. You're not going to say general skin. Now they're probably going to make multiple products, or they're just like, I'm not going to use the word normal. But okay, if you're not going to use it, what are you going to substitute for? Is it dry skin? Is it flake skin? I mean, what are we talking about here? Honestly, as you can tell from my voice, I'm not really fond of this type of decision because it doesn't make sense in a general sense. I mean, people don't go out and buy and go find a shampoo. It's like, you know what? I want a normal shampoo, or I want a normal toothpaste. Well, we all know there's different type of shampoo and different type of flavors and smell. So if I go buy Head and Shoulder, okay, I'll get the original, or I get a dandruff control. I still don't understand it. I mean, when it comes to lotion, like normal dry skin, that's normal, right? I still don't see anything wrong with that. But again, apparently they want to represent the underrepresented group, whether it be you're fat, skinny, you're black, you're white, you're brown. It's either for press or they're actually gonna go for this. But I honestly, I don't really care. I don't buy Unilever because I don't buy Unilever products because hey, they're Unilever. I buy it because hey, it works. That's it. Whether it be shampoo, toothpaste, whatever. So topic number 2 is from hypebeast.com, titled "A Lawsuit Alleging Google Track Incognito Mode User Will Go Forward." So a lawsuit alleging Google Track Incognito Mode Chrome users will proceed after Google's motion to dismiss the case was denied by a federal judge on Friday. The class action lawsuit Brown versus Google was submitted in June 2020. Claims that the plaintiff's data was collected and tracked from June 2016 to filing without consent or legitimate business interest, while the private browsing tool, according to Business Insider. Google asked for dismissal on the grounds the users are informed as the ways their data is used, even in incognito mode. The company's lawyers explain in their motion. Google also makes clear that incognito mode does not mean invisible, and that the user's activity during that session may be visible to a website they visit and any third-party analytics or ads and services they visited use. Federal courts here have been tracking down the ways tech giants track and collect and implement user data over the last year. So what is really incognito mode? When I found out incognito mode, I also thought, hey, I'm gonna be invisible. I'm not gonna have history. I'm not gonna have cookies. When I get out of incognito mode, all of that is gone, right? Nope. Apparently, Google is saying even in incognito mode, we will still track you and collect data from you. Okay, then what's the point of having incognito mode then? Well, what's the point? Well, Google is saying, well, when you exit out of it, all your history is deleted. It's gone. Well, is that really incognito mode? Let's be real. Or let's be honest. Incognito mode is actually, by its definition, you could be hiding, you could be on the down low, you don't want anybody to know. That would be the basic definition of incognito. But apparently not in Google's ways. So I'm for Brown. Certainly I want Brown. I want the plaintiff to win. I want Google to lose. Certainly Google is trying to use its monopolistic power to control the internet. Look, if I was not in incognito mode, fine. But if you're gonna have that, why even bother? So hopefully, again, the plaintiff wins and Google loses. Now let's imagine if the plaintiff wins. Google is not really going to do about it. If I was the plaintiff, I would use another browser. Hopefully a secure browser, hopefully a browser that cannot track you, hopefully a browser that does not track cookies. I don't like it. I don't even know why they call it cookies. I'm sure there's it's a hyphen. I'm sure it stands for something. But whatever it is, hopefully a lot of these so-called tech giants could be sued and certainly lose, because it would humble themselves. Because as you know, all of these Google controls a lot of the internet. They're trying to make an internet standard, and I don't want that. I don't want a controlled internet. I want a free internet that anything goes. Yes, there are bad things out there in the internet, and the same thing in real life. There are bad things out there. I mean, you can't expect everything to be happy. It is what it is. It's just human nature. Same in the animal kingdom. Animals, there's good and bad, evil, whatever you want to call it. There's a hunter. There's certainly a hunter and a hunted. So that's the way that the world works. So, topic number 3, another article from hypebeast.com. Uber and Lyft to start sharing information on banned drivers. This is going to be interesting. The 2 major US ride-sharing platforms announced the data partnership on Thursday, saying that the companies were working to enhance their safety measures. Today, Lyft and Uber announced the industry sharing safety program, a first of its kind, to share information about drivers and delivery people deactivated from each company's platform for the most serious safety incidents, including sexual assault, physical assaults resulting in fatality. We're setting a new standard for safety in our industry. Tony West, Uber Senior Vice President and Chief Legal Officer. Safety should not be proprietary. There's now a way to help prevent offenders from moving between platforms and potentially harming others. In 2018, Uber was sued $10 million by Washington, D.C. woman after she was sexually assaulted by a driver. In 2017, Kansas City woman sued Uber, alleging that she was raped by a driver with a criminal record. Again, even if they shared information, fine. I'm okay with that. That's a good step. But is this really going to start the sexual harassment? I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, we'll see. No one knows. And here's the funny thing. It's Uber and Lyft, right? What about DoorDash? What about Instacart? Why not also add that? I mean, the delivery drivers, they're still drivers for these apps. Why it's only Uber and Lyft? So this is a great small step, but we need bigger steps. Maybe these people need to need to do more background checks on each driver, whether it be via connect with DMV. How about that? I never heard of that. I mean, I need to know. Also, if they're gonna share information about these drivers, what about share information about the driver records, not just sexually assault or harassment or any type of offensive matters that the drivers did? What about good drivers? So, I mean, I'm only reading it from an outsider, but they said share information on banned drivers. What about good drivers though? What about them? So it's only gonna be banned drivers. So this is a limited set of data information that is being shared from both companies. So again, it's a great small step, but it needs to be done more. I mean, we'll see when everything's back to normal. Certainly more people are gonna be driving. So last topic, fourth topic from hypebeast.com. Wow, a lot of articles from Hypebeast. Rolex. Yes, Rolex reportedly accounts for 25% of the entire Swiss watch industry's annual turnover. 25% compared to 22% back in 2019. Could you believe that? So we're just talking about the Swiss watch industry, right? That'd be yours, Hublot, your Swatch, your Omega, your Tudor, your Rolex, certainly Patek Philippe, Vacheron Constantin. List goes on and on. 25% is Rolex sales. That's big. That lets you know that certainly Rolex is the famous watch brand company of all time. Even now, we can go on and on about this. When people hear the name Rolex, they know it's expensive. They know it's something. It has weight, brand equity, brand awareness. So, with the pandemic greatly affecting multiple brands in the industry, Rolex still managed to hold its own, gaining more market share than its competitors. LVMH, Swatch Group, Richemont, according to Watch Pro, turnover for Rolex also dropped by 14%. Production output fell even faster than turnover due to an average increase of 5% price per watch. Rolex now holds approximately 25% of the global market among Swiss watches. With a quarter of the market, its retail sales value tallies to $8.5 billion in 2019. Globally, Omega still remains the second largest Swiss watchmaker, selling 500,000 units last year. In 2019, Omega sold 794,000. Cartier managed to sell more watches in 2020 than 2019, so certainly a lot of these watches are actually being sold at a very good rate. So 25%. You see, I'm a fan of watches. I love watches. I collect watches. I think I have 13 watches right now, from automatics, quartz, certainly in solar. I love all kind of watches, as long as the design is great and as long as I can legibly tell time. And Rolex is one of those brands that I got to have. Whether it be the end-all be-all watch or whatever, I'm a fan of the Submariner, no date. Now, going back to the top itself, could you believe that 25%? There are a lot of brands in the Swiss industry, watch brands, and by having Rolex as 25% of all sales in the Swiss industry watches, that is absolutely amazing. And I'm not sure if you know, but if you know, there's always there's a wait list on the Submariner, Deep Sea Dweller, certainly the Daytona, the GMT, and the Cellini, certainly the President, and the Oyster, and also OP, the Polar. I know you can get that easily, but certainly the Submariner, the GMT, the Daytona, those are the hottest watches that Rolex makes, and it always sells out, or there's a waiting list, and it's a long waiting list. Rolex could do this all day and night. Even though their production output fell by 14%, but certainly their sales did not. Their sales actually increased by this year. It's absolutely amazing because people have more money because they did not go on vacation, they did not spend a lot, they did not go out a lot. So certainly more people are saving up than usual, and people have the money to spend on a Rolex, I guess. And so it's going to be interesting, and more time goes, hopefully there is more competition, but certainly the watch industry in Switzerland are well, hopefully they do much better. Omega could hopefully do much better, but it doesn't look like it because Rolex is putting out more sales than Omega, and Omega is the second. So I'm a fan of Omega, certainly, but Rolex is still king in the Swiss watch industry. And so that basically concludes this Mr. Informal Podcast 149. I am thankful that you took the time to listen to me from beginning to end. I'm certainly thankful if you gained some insights, you learned something from me, or you actually gained something that you never thought of gaining. Again, please be safe, please be healthy, and make sure you spend your time well with the people you love, because you never know when that person or the people you love just suddenly disappears from your life. And please do not forget to add me on Instagram, MISTERINFORMAL, And then check out my website. I got some great stuff in there. Got some blog stuff. Got some articles in there. MrInformal.com. MrInformal.com. And so that is it for this Mr. Informal Podcast 148. And certainly I will see you in the next podcast. Bye-bye.